All right.
All right.
So I listen to the game now.
Right, take it away.
All right. So yeah, welcome everyone. So we're gonna do Silent Hill. We're gonna do it the UFO ending, so a little bit differently than what you may be used to. And we're going to start in. Let me find it. Okay, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. And alright, so we have loaded the next sphere file here, and we don't begin the game by the actual first section of it. Normally you would have to go through like an initial section to find Cheryl and the nightmare, but this is New Game Plus, so we're already starting in the cafe. I didn't mean to pick up the health drink, but I'm gonna go with it anyway because it's a good item for safety. It's gonna change my menus a little bit, but it's no big deal. And we're gonna have a little cutscene here, and if you know the game, you definitely know what this is about. It's a famous radio cutscene, but we're gonna have to fight a creature here. It's gonna come crashing into the window called the Air Screamer. I'm just gonna equip my handgun. My men's a little bit different, so it's no big deal. And I'm 5 or 6 shots to it. I think that was 5 shots, so it's okay. We're going to also pick the radio up and leave the cafe. So as I said, we start the run a little bit. We're basically skipping the introduction of the game. You know, the intro with the alleyway and Cheryl and all of that, and we're already beginning at the cafe. And now we're going to pick up a very important item, probably the most important item for the whole run, which is the item required for the UFO ending. It's called the channeling sound. So we're going to pick it up. It's right on the counter here. There it is. And the way to obtain this item, the way to obtain this item, you need to do a good plus ending on one of your playthroughs, and then on your subsequent next sphere you're going to have access to the channeling sound. So after doing the good plus ending, which is the best ending, you'll have access to the UFO ending. And the UFO ending is essentially a joke ending. It is actually in the original game. It's not a mod, it's not anything, it's just a joke, but in the game by the developers. And a lot of the Silent Hill games have followed suits with joke endings. So I think all of the Silent Hill games except for 4 has a joke ending. 2 has 2 joke endings, has a dog and a UFO ending. 3 has a UFO ending, I think. And then 4 has nothing. And then, you know, all the other Western games have joke endings. So we've got that. And we're going to use the channeling stone 5 times throughout the game, and in the 5th use, we're going to trigger the UFO ending. So this is actually the shortest run, the shortest category in the game actually. But since this is New Game Plus, we cannot really consider it any %. And right now we're just doing the beginning. We're just taking the keys for Eclipse. We need to go through a certain door instead of the house, and the door can only be unlocked by unlocking 3 locks. And we're just picking up the 3 keys in the best possible order, going through the streets of Silent Hill here, trying to avoid the enemies. And those enemies, the Air Screamers, you know, the ones that are similar to the one that I killed in the cafe. They can be quite nasty sometimes, but in this run they're behaving. They're not chasing me around. They can chase you around. It's kind of random. They can sometimes kick you to the face, which is obviously not what you want. But with some, you know, a little bit of technique, you can dodge them all right. And we're just done picking up the keys. We're going to take a look at a paper indicating that there's a key in the doghouse. We need to do that before trying to get the key, otherwise Harry's not going to get the key. And the thing worth mentioning is that this run is played on normal. So usually a Silent Hill speedrun is played on easy difficulty, and this one is played on normal or hard. You can play in any difficulty that you wish, anyone that's best for you. But we're going to play on normal. Normal is a little bit faster than hard for the most part. So that changes the route a little tiny bit. There are some extra enemies in the school that we have to, and the series as well, that we have to look for. So this is the house with the door with the 3 locks. So just gonna come here, and we unlock those. And here, the town of Silent Hill gets dark. So now we're introduced to our flashlights, which we can turn on and off. And I'm gonna be turning off the flashlights in a lot of the rooms during the school. So our objective is to get to the school and try and find Cheryl there. I'm going to turn off the lights here, and that essentially de-aggroes the enemies, or doesn't pre-aggro them. It essentially makes the enemies a little bit more passive towards you. And that makes it so you can get through some rooms in certain lines, or in certain do certain strats that are a little bit more optimal. You don't have to, you know, go around enemies. You can just take the right line. And there's an enemy chasing me here, an air screamer, and I can just turn off my lights and he instantly stopped chasing me. So, you know, it's quite useful. And we're getting to the school, and the school's pretty complicated. It is where most of your runs are going to die, because you've got those enemies here. They're called mumblers, or you can call them great children as well if you want. Doesn't matter too much, but they have a grab attack, and that makes you lose like 2-3 seconds, which is definitely not good. So I'm turning off my lights here to avoid those 2 guys, and I'm gonna turn off again so I can go to the left of this guy, and they can still grab you regardless. It's kind of RNG, but turning off your lights makes it less likely, makes them much less likely to grabbing you and attacking you. And here at the school we have to get 2 items, a gold medallion and a silver medallion, and you can access them through 2 puzzles. The gold medallion is pretty easy. Use the chemical on this. Oh damn. Use the chemical in this. I'm gonna try again. Use the chemical in his hand. As you can see, I kind of failed a little bit. You know, kind of jinxed it a little bit. And I'm gonna put the gold medallion in the clock tower in the corresponding slot while dodging those enemies. So turning off the lights. I need to turn off the lights right now because I can just take this line pretty safely. I'm gonna put the gold medallion here, and the second one's the silver medallion, which is behind the piano puzzle. And the piano puzzle is very hard if you don't know what you're doing, but the solution is the same every time. So if you memorize the solution, you can do it every time pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm gonna go through the piano puzzle really quickly, hopefully without actually making mistakes and having to redo the puzzle. There we go. There's a little guy there I have to look for. So here's the music room. And here's the piano puzzle. I'm gonna get the silver medallion after this. Yep, there we go. So I'm now gonna put the silver medallion on the clock tower, but not before. Oh. Going through hallways, a lot of those enemies. I have to be careful. And I'm always turning off my lights here to dodge them. I'm gonna do a save strat for the next hallway, which I don't usually do in my runs, but it's just a second slower and it makes me go through pretty easily. You walk 1 step forward, and then you turn off your lights and run all the way to the left, and you're to the right. Sorry, you run all the way to the right after doing that, and you are guaranteed to not get grabbed by those guys, those mumblers here. And I'm gonna do that strat again because I'm gonna go through the clock tower, but not before I turn in the boilers. So first thing I gotta do is turn on the boiler right here, and that unlocks the clock tower's door. And we're gonna go through that to progress. I turn off my lights here, and this is something that you wouldn't do in easy because this guy is not there. And once again, walk 1 step forward, then turn off your lights and go to the right. And you should dodge those guys every time. Yeah, there's some extra enemies in normal and they deal more damage in general. They're a little bit more aggressive as well. Of course, they have more health and stuff. Yeah, going through the clock tower, and now you find out that you are in the same place but different. So this cutscene is kind of cool. You find yourself in the courtyard again, but now we are in a transformed version of the school. It's the Otherworld school, and everything looks like much more, much worse. Essentially, it looks kind of demonic, if you ask me, or kind of, I don't know, in really bad shape. I'm gonna turn off my lights here as well. So lots of turning off the lights. It's a very useful item. So yeah, this can freak you out first time you're playing it and stuff. And we're going to get the most important weapon of the run here very soon, which is the shotgun. And we're going to use the shotgun for the rest of the run. And we're not killing too many enemies. I've killed an air screamer. I'm gonna kill one hanged scratcher in the sewers and only 2 bosses. So this is a much shorter category, trust me. I'm gonna equip the shotgun soon, and once again, I have to dodge those guys here, and yeah, I have to go through them like this. And as you can see, I'm using different camera, an over-the-shoulder camera. I'm gonna explain that later. I'm just gonna keep explaining the school, and after the school, I'm gonna go through the other options that I have enabled, the New Game Plus options. But for now, I'm gonna pick up this rubber ball. It is required for a puzzle we're going to do in the roof, and a few important things that are going to happen here. So let's just go forward to the roof. Before using the rubber ball though, you have to look to a hole here, and in this hole there's a key. So now after doing that, Harry actually can use the rubber ball, but not before equipping the shotgun like this. And we do both of them in the same menu to save time. And now we can make the key go down the drain by, turning the drainage valve. And we're gonna pick up this key in the courtyard. This is a nice and skippable cutscene. Pretty good, that's me. To rest for a few seconds. And now after this cutscene, what we're going to do is use the Channeling Stone for the first time. For our first UFO. And there we go. What? That lights? So this is our first UFO. We're gonna use the Channeling Stone in very specific locations. The school roof is the first one, and we've got 4 more to go. So yeah, I don't know how people would figure out that he would have to use the Channeling Stone right there, but yeah. So once again, turning off the lights here to dodge this guy, and now we're going to pick up the key that we just flushed down the thingy there that I don't know the name of. Yeah, the classroom key. Oh, I got stuck in that. Yeah, I got stuck in that little. Oh no! Hold on. Controlling Harry. Oh my god, and I got grabbed. Yeah, it's fine. It's no big deal. It's just a minor time loss. Controlling Harry sometimes can be a pain, even for experienced runners. That was my B though. Right, so we're gonna go through those classrooms, and the next one is going to be empty. But I'm gonna go back through it afterwards, and it's going to be swarmed by enemies. And I picked some shotgun shells. There's the only box of shotgun shells I'm gonna pick up for the entirety of the run. There was a great children there, a mumbler to dodge. And here, after this little jump scare right here, we're going to pick up a key. It's a library reserve key. And now we've got both keys that open the way to Splithead, the first boss. And we're going to use a very, very neat strategy for Splithead. And here we got 4 enemies in this room, so we have to be careful how to dodge them. Oh no, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, I took a very risky route, but The risky routes, what I always do, so it's the only thing that I know how to do. I'm gonna turn off the lights again here, because in this room we have 2 enemies. They are not there on easy. I got grabbed again. This is actually kind of bad. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, anyway, now we're gonna go through another room surrounded by enemies. I'm gonna have my lights on for the entire thing. I'm just gonna take a wide route here. This is, I guess, what you're really supposed to do in this room. Now we're actually heading towards the first boss, which is this cool boss, Splithead. And Splithead is a giant lizard. And you're gonna see why it's called Splithead. Or, well, I don't think you're gonna see, because we're gonna kill it really fast. Hopefully. There's this valve puzzle before it. This is kind of a cool valve puzzle. It's kind of challenging if you don't know the solution, but the solution is actually quite simple. Turn the valve of the right twice to the left, and the valve of the left once to the right, and that's it. So there you go. And once again, the solutions for the puzzles are always the same, so you don't have to worry about that kind of randomness. But for Splithead, we're going to use a very interesting strat that we don't do in New Game Easy. There's a reason for that. I'm going to explain it later. But we're going to shoot him 11 times in the head, and then we're gonna quickly kill it with a shot in the mouth. So let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let go. 1, 2, 5. Then I can do it. I think I shot the first shot too early, so it was 2 shots in the mouth. It's all good. It's all good. Splithead's dead anyway. But yeah, that strat supposedly saves 0.6 seconds. And the reason why you don't do that in 80% is because here we've got much more ammo available to us. So in 80% only a Taz would do that strategy, because the Taz would be able to manage ammo much better than or like optimally in a way that a human wouldn't really be able to. And but in UFO you don't really need that, because we're using an option called bullet adjust, and we're only killing 2 bosses, so we're not using the shotgun that much. So bullet adjust is an extra option, and self view is also an extra option. So this neat over the shoulder camera here that I'm using is called self view. Normally you would see the game like this, but with self view on, and you can press L2, or at least that's the default camera angle, default camera button. Sorry. This essentially makes it much easier to see where you're going, for obvious reasons. And you're not allowed to use that option in 80%. But in UFO you can, because this is a New Game Plus option, and UFO is a New Game Plus category. So any category that is obligatorily New Game Plus, you can use self-view, and you're most definitely going to use, and also bullet adjust. Bullet adjust is the second option. It essentially multiplies the amount of bullets that you get per box. So for an example, if I were to pick up some handgun bullets, usually I would get 15 bullets from a box, but with bullet adjust on and multiplying it times 2, I would get 30 bullets. And you can multiply the amount of bullets up to times 6. Times 6 is the maximum. So with bullet adjust times 6, instead of 15 bullets, we would get 90 bullets, which considerably helps, especially if you're doing like a 10-star challenge or some other kind of thing, maybe playing on a higher difficulty. And we definitely use that for UFO, but not for any kind of those 80% categories. I'm gonna heal very soon as well. Health is pretty low. But here we're in the church, and in the church we've got Dahlia, and a weird cutscene with her. She talks a bunch of nonsense. And we're gonna pick up 2 items that are necessary, and we're gonna go to the hospital because, well, Dahlia tells us so. And we're going to go to one of the hardest rooms in the game, called the drawbridge control room. And it's kind of funny to call it one of the hardest rooms in the game, because it's actually like 1 second long, but you have a quite precise amount of inputs to do that, so it's kind of hard to go from the door to the control panel to use the key to lower the bridge. But I'm gonna try and do it, and hopefully gonna get it properly. But it's this room right here. We're gonna go up, and that's probably one of the hardest movements right now. This thing here. So yeah, it doesn't look hard, but it is, promise. To go from the door to the control panel like this, it's kind of a pain. And yeah, I know it looks very easy, and most of the things in this game, they definitely do look easier than they actually are. And granted, this game is not a hard speed game, for the most part. But yeah, it's a pretty good game to do in marathons, pretty chill. You don't have too many things that can actually ruin your run. And I even healed there a little bit for safety. It's a good thing that I got the health drink in the cafe. It's good for marathons. And yeah, since you're playing on normal, the enemies do a little bit more damage, so you have to kind of be careful with taking too many hits. But now the bridge is lower, and we can finally have access to the hospital. And that just tells us to go to the hospital because, you know, I don't know. She just tells it to go there. And we're gonna find out a few things about, you know, about the game, but there's going to be a lot of door opening and key collecting, which is essentially the whole game. But right here, we're gonna find Kaufman. We're not going to, you know, talk to him too much. But yeah, it's not really worth mentioning. It's just a douche. And right now what we have to do is just go get a key in this very, very, very awkward room here. And yeah, you have to walk there. It's that awkward. And we're not going to pick up the plastic bottle that would do in 80%, so we can just ignore that because we're not going to save Sybil. We don't need to. The game ends before that, so we're just going to go straight to the basement. We're going to turn on the generator to be able to use the elevator. And the elevator, we're going to try and have, you know, reach the other floors. The second floor doors cannot be opened. I'm gonna try and go to the third floor, and the door can also not be opened. And suddenly, we've got a fourth floor. And this is kind of a mini puzzle. It's supposed to be kind of creepy. Oh wow, fourth floor. Especially in Japan, where 4 is kind of an unlucky number. It's considered to be an unlucky number, I believe. So, oh my god, Harry. Didn't want to go through the door. And now on the 4th floor, we are in the Otherworld Hospital. So it's similar to the school. And what we're gonna do here is pick up 4 items at first. You know, those 4 plates. I like to joke that they are soap. They look like soap, and they definitely do look like it. Also got a blood pack. I'm going to use it soon. This nurse can block you sometimes, but she's behaving now. We got the second piece, and we're gonna use all those 4 plates to go through a puzzle in a moment. Now we're gonna go down to the 1st floor. Yeah, and here I'm just taking those plates in the most optimal way. And there's a very neat strat here to get this next one, which involves some strafing. You rarely ever strafe in this game. Strafing is really slow, and you cannot really transition from running to strafing. But in that room, it is very, very useful. It's actually the fastest way to get the plate of Queen. And very soon we're going to get the 4th and final plate. So going through the hospital really quickly. We're now on the 2nd floor. First we're gonna get a lighter. It's also very useful. Now we're gonna use the blood pack uh, here in this room. We only need to walk 1 frame forward to actually use the blood pack. And there's a bloodsucker monster, and we just use it to, you know, distract it in order to pick up the final piece of the puzzle. Just like that. And now we're going to actually use those plates right in this room to solve the puzzle. And once again, puzzles are always the same, so the solution should be fairly easy. Gonna put the plate of Queen upper left, and then down right the plate of Hatter, and then uprights for the plate of Turtle, and plate of Cats on the down left, and that's gonna lock the door. And now we're gonna go through a room with a nurse blocking us, but we can actually bypass that nurse if you're lucky. And this looks good, so we kill the nurse and try to push to get access to the door right here before the nurse actually dies and her hitbox and collision disappear completely. And this is called the nurse skip. It's a trick that's pretty much RNG. There's no way to really manip that RTA wise. And it's kind of neat that I got it right there. And now we're going to finally go to the basement of the hospital. I got some alcohol. So I got lighter and alcohol, and we're going to use those 2 items right now. Don't try this at home, by the way. Yeah, there's some vines blocking our path in this next room here, so I'm just gonna open the menu, and first we're gonna pour the alcohol, because if you try to use the lighter without doing this, it's just not going to light on fire. And now we can open the way. To go to the secret basement of the hospital. And in the secret basement, it's kind of cool, it's kind of creepy. There are some creepy rooms, there are some interesting things to look at. But all we're gonna do here is we're going to pick up a key in the last room, which is supposed to be Alessa's room. It's right here.
What's this?
Dude, why am I looking at Alessa's portrait every run? I forgot how to do this now. It's a pretty bad mistake.
Pretty.
You're not supposed to do that. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Anyway, it's all good. And now we're going to use the key to unlock the door, and that's gonna end the hospital segment essentially. And there's a doctor here that can really block us, and he is blocking me, so I'm gonna have to go around, which is lower, which is not what you want to see. But yeah, I just used the key that I got there after looking at the portrait of Alessa, which you're not supposed to, and loses some time, but it's no big deal. And now the hospital is kind of back to normal. And we got an antique shop key, which means we have to go to the antique shop. Which means that we have to talk about the antique shop skip, or also known as the one and only out of bounds of the game. And this game has one out of bounds that's useful for runs, and it's this one. This is a very infamous trick. Every runner loses plenty of runs to this one trick, because if you don't get it, you have to get it first try if your time is pretty good. If you don't get it first try, your run's basically dead, because you're losing 6 to 8 seconds depending on how bad your attempt was, or maybe just straight up losing the run. But we're going to damage boost with an enemy in order to eliminate our collision through, and that's going to essentially allow me to walk through walls. And we're going to walk forward, or rather run forward, walking through the door that we just came from. And we're going to essentially warp to the other side of the map and fall on top of the place where we're going to fight the second boss. So here's the antique shop. Appreciate it. I'm not gonna look into it too much. Lots of cabinet pushing as well. Not lots, but some of it. And very soon we're gonna go and try to get the skip first try. I'm gonna try to be silent. If I get this first try, it's pretty good. If I don't, it's alright. It's a time loss, but you cannot ask for that much in a marathon. Yeah, that trick is really rough. It is RNG based to some degree, but it's not solely RNG raised. Sometimes there's nothing you can do, but much is on the skill of the player to deal with the pattern that you get, to recognize and deal with the pattern that you get. But yeah, let's see if I get it first try. Then we can talk about how much time it saves. This is kind of bad, but I think, yeah, I got it. So, got the trick. I'm going to go through this wall right here, which is actually a door. And all I'm doing here is going forward. The one hard thing is the damage boost. The out of bounds itself is just going forward. It's very easy. Now we're just basically walking in a void space, and we're warping to the other side of the map. We're going to land on top of a building. And this saves over a minute in the speedrun, essentially, because it skips an entire boss fight, an entire going back through the mall and going back to the hospital from the mall. So yeah, that's pretty good. And now we're back, like, in the hospital that quickly and that easy. This is the entrance of it. Oh wow. Yeah, we're going to talk with Lisa. Lisa is a character. We don't talk much with her. We don't mention her in the speedrun ever, but she's there. She's there in the game. She's not important though. Not for the speedrun at least. What is important for the speedrun though, it's what we're gonna do right now. So after going through this door, we're gonna bring up the menu. Gonna bring up the menu right here. And we're gonna use the channeling stone for the second time. What? That lights. So yeah, second time, just before Float Singer. And Float Singer is the second and last boss of the run, and third boss of the game. It's a giant moth, and she has two attacks: a sting attack and a poison attack. And we're going to space our shots between each other. Essentially because the boss has damage reduction, and spamming your shots is not a good idea. You have to wait a while before actually doing the full damage again with your shotgun. So like, kind of as I'm waiting. And I am also dodging the potential attacks from Float Stinger, just like that. And trying to position myself close to the entrance in the same time. So see that I'm slowly heading towards the staircase down there. Oh, I took a few hits, but it's fine. That's Float Stinger dead. It's pretty easy. And since I'm very close to the staircase now, I can just quick turn and leave to the sewers. So we had a conversation with Lisa, and she told me that I can have access to the resort area of the city by going through the sewers. I need to go to the resort area because Sybil, which is also a character in the game, she exists. She told Cheryl was headed to the sewer. Oh, sorry, headed to the resort area. I'm not gonna really explain the plot. I don't really have time for explaining that. It's kind of a crazy plot, but anyway. So we're gonna go there to the sewers, and thankfully we don't have to backtrack all the way back to the school, because if you don't know, the sewers is just right on the side of the school, but the game just puts us right in front of it as we close the bridge. So here we are, and we're just going to use the shotgun to break this lock. It's kind of a waste. It's kind of unnecessary, but it's a faster way of doing it. So, and now we're in the sewers of the game, and for this run this game has 2 sewers, but we're only going to see one because the run's gonna end before the second sewers. And sewers introduces us to a new enemy called the Hanged Scratcher, which are some green lizard things. And They are pretty random. They can be in your way sometimes, and looks like this guy's gonna be in my way like that, and you have to dodge him. It's kind of bad, but at least I didn't get hit. If you get hit, it's quite of a time loss, which is not what you really want. And there's no way to really manip them. There's no way to turn off your lights really, or do something. At least not RTA wise. A task will do a bunch of things to manipulate the frame counter and to manipulate the oh, that's not what you want to see. It's fine. To manipulate the enemy behavior, but that's a story for another time. And yes, I've recently completed a task of Silent Hill, so if you guys want to check it out, there's a new task. There are 2 new tasks for Silent Hill, but one's definitely better than the other. One's like a newer version of it, an updated version with a little bit more optimized in general, a few seconds. But yeah, I'm also a taster for this game, and this guy can really block me if he wants. Looks like we got the really good pattern where he doesn't move, and I can recognize those patterns by audio cues. I'm gonna go around the next guy, and I'm gonna shoot the last guy like that, and I only need to shoot him once and he's dead, and I can just push him out of my way, and there you go. I'm gonna turn off my lights here because there are 3 cockroaches in the end of this hallway, and I'm gonna activate. Oh, okay. Yeah, just so they don't body block me and get in my way. Can make me lose a few frames, and you know, frames, you don't really want to lose them when you're speedrunning. But we are very close to the end of the series, and we're very close to the resort area, and the last 3 Shelling Stone uses are going to be in the resort area, so the runs get into the final portion, it seems. But we still got one last thing to do in the sewers, which is to pick up the sewer exit key. And it's right in the end of this section, so we're gonna have to go through all of this and then backtrack. And also dodge those cockroaches, nasty. And there we go. So the sewer exit key is gonna be on the next room right here. We're going to be surrounded by 3 of the Hanged Scratchers after we pick it up. And there's going to be another one in my way. That last one is not there and needs a difficulty. He's there in normal and hard. So we have to kind of go around him. Kind of like this. Check it out. So we're going to go around this guy. And we can just open the door. And now we're going to go and actively exit the sewers by backtracking a few of those rooms. There's one last meme that can happen, like the gatekeeper, as we call it. There's like a lizard right in front of the door that I need to unlock. And sometimes he blocks you and hits you, but of course that's not going to happen in a marathon, right? Oh, no, okay. I was literally a frame of getting hit there. I was literally a frame of getting hit. One frame. Well, at least we are all the sewers. And we're into the resort area. It's still dark, and it's gonna be dark for the rest of the game. It's good for UFO sightseeing though. So. And now we're going to head for a hotel. And Silent Hill has a hotel. Looks kind of nice actually. And we're gonna use self-view to navigate through this a little bit. We're gonna go inside of this, and we're going to go to the parking lot of the hotel, and we're gonna immediately bring up the menu and use the challenge sound. That's the 3rd time.
What?
Headlights? I love how the UFO does some nice maneuvers before just fading out. I'm gonna turn off my lights right here to, you know, oh, did I? Oh, I didn't. Okay. Okay, the romper did behave, so we're good. I'm gonna dodge this dog. Hey, now that we use the challenge zone for the 3rd time, we're just gonna progress through the game, cross the bridge, and get to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is going to actually be the end of the game, so we're not going to hey Sakushi, hello. We're not going to go to nowhere. We're not going to fight Sybil. We're not going to find Incubus or Incubator, and we're also not going to rescue our daughter. We're just going to, you know, chill with the aliens for a little while. I guess that's kind of fair. But yeah, that's the reason why this category is much faster than 90%. And 90% would take me 50 something minutes to finish. So if you know, it's like 10 minutes of difference. But you know, this category is much shorter. There's a guy here. There's probably a dog here. I think we can go through the labs. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll turn off my lights. Oh, that wasn't enough to... Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's kind of dangerous. Anyway, we got into the boats, and here in the boat there's a cutscene with Dahlia and Sybil, which is important. No plot's important now. The only thing that's important is using the challenge stone to get some UFOs. I took a lot of damage there. Wow. You know, to be absolute safe, I am going to actually, just to guarantee that I'm not going to die, pick up a health drink and instantly use it. There you go. Because there are some, you know, I am in danger. I don't really want to take any risks. It doesn't cost me much time. I really don't want to. If I get top of the stairs here and I am low in health, I can die and that ends the whole run. So, oh, and it looks like I'm gonna get top of the stairs. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, you guys probably didn't see that, but the romper was following me really closely there. Alright, so we're gonna get to the lighthouse, and that's where the run's going to actually end. So time is kind of coming up soon. But this section of the game is absolutely terrible. As you guys can probably see, the frame rate is just... it's just terrible. It's just awful. But yeah, we're very close to the lighthouse now. We just dodge this dog, or rather ignore it. Oh, hit our head in the door, and we're gonna go up the lighthouse by doing some very specific movements. We're gonna walk a little bit, like here, and then we're gonna run a little bit, and that's actually faster. You cannot just run all the way. And time's coming up in 3 seconds, so we're gonna use the challenge stone, and that's gonna be time. So skip the cutscene. Use the challenge stone. Open the menu. Use the challenge stone, and that's time. So that's Silent Hill UFO ending, and enjoy the ending, guys. And this one actually never gets old. And thanks for the GGs.
Alright.
Oh, hello.
Any closing words? Or do you just want to let the cutscene play out?
Yeah, let's just let the cutscene play. Everyone wants to see it, right? And come on, this is just awesome.
Sorry. Let me ask you, have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair.
Oh man. Imagine the first person that actually got this without... I don't think, like... There's gotta be someone that's got this without any tutorial, without any spoilers. The person was like, what? What the heck? Yeah, this is just the best ending, and the best ending song as well, so... Oh yeah, if you're in the chat right now, there's one thing that I want to ask of you. If you want to play a little game that I like to play, try and guess the final in-game timer that is going to appear in the ranking screen after the credits. Let's see if anyone can guess it right. So for reference, my personal best is 25 minutes and 44 seconds. So we should be around the 25 to 26 range. I think it's going to be a low 26. I'm gonna place my guess as well. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's going to be 26, 12. So you guys can kind of guess from that. But yeah, this is an amazing. Oh, sorry, wow, sorry me.
25-31 for me. Just gonna let you wrap out here then, and we'll get sorted out.
All right, so yeah, but yeah, this run is really fun to do actually, and this is an easy game to speedrun. So if you're interested to run the game, you know, you can hit me in the DMs. We have a Discord for the Soundhound community. This, if you're trying to get into speedrunning, this is actually a really good game to do. So yeah, like it's a pretty easy game. It's a pretty easy run in general, and it's actually quite kind of fun. And of course, if you want to see more of if you want to see more UFO runs, make sure to check out my channels, and I do Soundhill runs all the time there. So yeah, let's see if I can. We got some time still if you want to guess, or you still got some guesses in the chat. It's been a while since I did Resident Evil 4 though. It's been so long, but I try to. Yeah, lots of 4 games.
Do you just like the number 4 or something, man?
It's a pretty good number actually. I just realized, you know, that I played some games with that. All right. What's the final time is gonna be? I said 26:12. So let's see. And 25:58. That's actually pretty good. It's up 26. I don't think anyone guessed it right. I suppose the closest one. Oh no, Soundhill PSX was actually the closest one.
PSX was the closest one.
That was so
congratulations.
Close. It was a good run.
You win the trophy of donate all your money, give all your money to charity. Do it now. Do it now.
All right, so yeah, that's gonna be it for me. So thanks for having me. Oh, it's a second up. Thanks for having me, guys.
For joining us.
And yeah, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Thank you.
Alright, we're gonna switch back to intermissions, and then there's a few things to cover regarding the schedule.